Hello and welcome to another Nikomedia tutorial. So today we will recreate this picture I did recently, this one, but we do just the scene and everything, but nothing what is in it, because so you can put under this glass spell or dome or whatever you wanna call it, you can put in whatever you want. So maybe yes, maybe in the next tutorial soon I will do a short tutorial, so a quick tip tutorial how you can make such a pine cone here. But this will be the next one. Today we make this whole look of this picture. This is rendered in Octane, and some people are asking me, can you do this just in Octane, or can you do this with the normal, with the physical render too? Yeah, today we do it with the physical render, and I'm sure we get a quite nice picture like this. So we don't need really Octane, but Octane is great, no question about it, but it works without Octane too. So then let's start with the plate, and then let's make the dome here, this glass thing, and then the planks here, and yes, okay. So let's start with this wood plate here. So let's start with a cylinder. In size we make about, a little bigger, so 25 4. That should be okay. Then we don't need so many segments because we put this in a subdivision surface later. So 24 is enough here. Okay. Then we convert this. Press C on your keyboard, or do it with this script here, with the optimize script. The link you find in the description. Okay, then let's select this thing here. Then I for inner extrude, somewhere like that. Then release the mouse button, and again a little inner extrude, something like that. Okay. Then UL for loop selection, and we select this here. Then E for the move tool, and hold your control key and move it a little down this selection, so something like that. Okay. The next thing is I want to bevel here the edges and here the edges, so let's go to edge mode. Here edges and here, but I want here a rounder bevel, like here I want a sharp bevel, and here a rounder. So I do it with the bevel deformer, and you will see how I do it. So we need selections. UL for the selection, select this and this. This will be our bigger roundings. But if you don't have the bevel deformer, so you can just select these two, and now MS on the keyboard, and bevel it now, and bevel then later these ones a little smaller. But I want it later with the bevel deformer, so I can change everything later on if I need. So set selection, here, I have it here. So this selection is stored, and this set selection you find under mesh, no, under select, set selection here. Okay, this is my first selection. Then my second selection, and I want this here, this, and this edge. And now you must be careful. If you would now press again set selection, you would overwrite this selection tag. So you must once click somewhere here, so it's deselected, and now go to the cylinder, activate it, and now you can make a second selection tag. Otherwise you would overwrite this first one. Okay, so let's name this big, and let's name this small. Now we take a bevel deformer. So select our cylinder, go to the deformer and shift click on the bevel. Now we have it here. And now you see everything is bevel quite much. So I could move my bevel and drag the big selection just here in the selection. Now we have it just here. And I don't want a chamfer or chamfer, I want solid, and 0.5 should be here, okay. Now I copy this bevel deformer, so Control key and drag it under this one, something like this, and just now drag the small selection tag here in this, and now we can change this edge here with 0.2. And if we put this everything now in a subdivision surface, so select the cylinder, Alt key on your keyboard and press on the subdivision surface. Now you see we have here a sharp corner, a sharp edge, and here a rounder edge. And that's exactly what I want. And of course now you could change everything if you want. If you say this to less, I want it rounder, or I want it... doesn't look so bad. If it's maybe I want it rounder. Something like that. Why not? Now, let's... No. Oh. Why not? Do it like this. It's not like the original, but it looks better, I think. Okay. The next thing is why we don't see this bevel here. We see this bevel here. It is here. Next thing is our dome. So let's deactivate this subdivision surface for the moment. And now for the dome I need a capsule. Where are you? Here. A little too big maybe. Down, so somewhere here. And I go in the top view so I see it better and make it bigger. Somewhere like here, so. And here again we don't need so many segments here, the 24 again is okay. And now I just need half of it, of this capsule. So first I convert it, so press C on your keyboard, or like I do. Okay. Then I go in a side view, point mode. Then a rectangle selection, and here only select visible elements off, so I can select all these points here and just delete it. Hit delete on the keyboard and that's it. So far so good. Here we can go a little up, somewhere here. Okay, but now this is too is not high enough for me here, so I want it higher. So I take these points here and just drag it up. If you hold the shift key you get increments, so you can easier drag around you want. So like 25 I think is okay. And the next thing I want is we can delete these points here. Delete it. Take these points and drag it down. Then UL for loop selection. or okay, we could have done it with the rectangle selection too, of course. Yeah. And T for scale. No, not scale. E for moving, and move it a little down so that we are in half here. Okay. Now again we select points and we select all those points here. All points except this on the bottom here. And now hit T for scale, but don't scale it now, so you would scale in every direction. Sorry, but we just want to scale in a X and Z direction. So I hover over this axis here, over the Y axis, and you see it becomes white. And now I hold my Shift key, and I have exactly the opposite. So now I just scale in the X and Z direction. So I scale it down, something like this. Okay, that's nice. And again we select some points. These now, because I don't want it so round here, that is this high rounding here. So T for scale. And now we scale just in the y-axis. Something like this. Okay. And now, yes, I go to my name it class, and here I make an X-ray, so it looks a little like glass. The next is I want a little thickness for our glass here, so that it fits in this deepening here. So I select our glass, go to simulate, cloth and cloth surface. Hit Alt key on your keyboard and book. We don't need subdivisions, so no. We just want thickness here. So let's make this cloth surface X-ray 2. And now go a little closer, and now we should see with the thickness here. Hold your Alt key so you get 0.1 increments, and go. You see now the thickness here. Something like that. Oh, that should be enough. Okay. And now I want to put this cloth surface, I name it class 2, in a subdivision surface. Alt key, subdivision surface. Now I have this nice rounding here. And glass. And I make an X-ray of it too. Whoop. So now we have this. This is our board. And we are done for the dome. Yes. Okay. The next thing is I want 2 blanks here. I don't know how it's called. I think blanks. This wood blanks here. Okay. Let's make a cube. Again, a little too big. T for scale. Then make it a little thinner. Bring it a little front here, so that hasn't to be too exact. I don't know. But I want round numbers, so let's see. In the X, this is okay. The Y 3 centimeter, 3 centimeter, no, much more. Let's see, something like this. And now we have in the Z axis, okay, let's say 50. Okay. now we need like this. 50 is too much, I think. Let's go to 40 is better. And Y 5. Okay. Okay. Now I want a little rounding here. Let's fill it. 0.5 or 1. Let's see. Yeah, this we can change later on the. So now I copy this cube. You can drag this, hold your control key and drag this cube down, or you hold your control key and just drag it here, and you have a copy. So somewhere here. Okay. This should be good. Yes, this could work. And now we want another. We want a high picture. Don't know how it's. I don't want this format. I want this format here. So go to the render settings, and here I want, let's say, 600 to 800. But I know I want to render with GI, so I make it with GI. 600 to 800. Okay. And now we have this weird camera angle here. So we need a camera. Normally I do this so for the lighting and everything, of course, I use my Nikomedias Scene Rig. So I go to my Scene Rig here. You can do it without the Scene Rig too, as I said, or you can download. You don't have to buy this. And as you see, this is the 3.1. This is not out yet, but will come soon. And here I changed a little bit, but this you can't do at the moment with. So I show you what I mean. Yes, I drag it in my scene here. And what we need now for this, we need to change the focal length. And until now you can't change here in the camera with the 3.0 version. Now in the 3.1 you have the focal length. In the earlier versions, in the 3.0, you don't have this. But this will come soon, and then there will be a little more then. So I work not with this camera now. I work with a normal camera, so we can follow. So, but here the Scene Rig, I don't need nothing. I don't need floor and need nothing here. I need this just to illuminate and to reflect, and for the background later. So yeah, camera. We need a camera. And here I want a focal length of 80. Now I have this angle I want. Yep, that's what I want. I think that's good. So let's take our two cubes here and maybe move it a little down, something like this, and I give my camera a protection tag so that nothing can happen anymore. And I think I saved this file for now. I forgot to save. Normally I do it automatically, but with the tutorials every time I forget it. Just glass well. Okay. And now I make a second camera, because if I go out of this cam now and want to work, I have this weird angle. I don't want to work with this angle here. So I make a copy of my camera without a protection deck. Don't need it here. Activate it, and now I can work normally, and then I have a normal angle here. But the camera angle was okay. So now let's start to make some materials. Let's start with the wood here, and here we can try let's try the normal wood of Cinema, from the Cinema 4D shader, Cinema 4D shader, texture and surfaces. Wood is good, and put it on our board and put it here, and let's see how this works. Okay, now we need something to lighten our scene, because we go out of the GI mode, and we should see something. Okay. Doesn't look so. Let's take another texture. Let's search for one in my textures here. My textures, wood. Let's see what we have here. I want here a darker wood, like something like this. Yes. One or oh, let's try. Drag it on the question mark here. Okay. Here I see it doesn't fit to the. We can try with seamless, but it's not really better. Then we can try with an cubic mapping, and then right click on the texture deck and fit to object. No, we don't do this. No, not really. Yeah, this I like, but we have an easy solution for this. Take this our board here, R for rotation, and it fits. Maybe we find a nicer angle. Yeah. Something like that. Yes, that's okay, I think. Okay, we can play with the texture later on when we lighten the scene. Okay. The next is a glass texture. This should be no problem. Glass. No color, transparency, and then 1.517 for glass. Okay, and here I don't need the specular. Bye bye. And that's enough for our glass. What is here? Okay, And then we need something for our wood planks here. And here I prepared something. That's not the originals, but and I didn't test it, but I think it's a good way. Here I have two different planks. Sorry. And I made these normal maps and specular maps and displacement maps. And let's try these ones. So new blank 1 color, and here I put my texture in. For the moment not. So put it on my cube here. Set it to cube mapping and fit to object. Right click, fit to object. Yeah, that looks right. That looks nice. Okay. Then let's take the second one. Let's make one more. This is then blank 2. I hope this is blank 2. Blank 2, and put in this one. You will get the textures, you will get the whole project file, so you have the textures too. And this put on our second one. And the same, right click, first cubic mapping, right click on the texture tag and fit to object. Okay, now let's light the scene and then let's make the reflections, and then we work with this texture further. We give the normal maps and everything, so we get a really nice picture. And here we are not, I think, is this a ready one? No, this is not ready. Why is this in my textures if it's not ready? It's an old texture. We don't need this. The Fresnel we need here. Of course you will get these textures too. Here take a vegetable and something like that. That should work, yes. The bump map, oh, okay, we can use it. Why not? So give a little bump on it. Okay, and now let's lighten the. I go to my rig and I go to the HDRI settings, and I used a picture from the SIBL loader. You will know it meanwhile, I think, if you have seen my tutorials before. The link is in the description if you don't have it. So I go to my SIBL loader, one moment, and here I have one file. This is the FunCleave 03. Here you see it, and I used this picture here for my HDRI. Put it in here, and now we click scene by camera. Okay, now let's rotate it a little bit. Yeah, I had it somewhere here in the original picture. Let's go to this camera we use and find a nice angle. This should be okay. Yes, okay. And back with the protection deck here. Okay, now we can render this the first try. Let's make like this, so, and that looks nice. Okay, now we will change these textures a little bit. So blank 1, I give in my normal map, go back here, need this one, put it in here. Now we should see here is something changing. It's far too much, so 10 should be okay. And in the reflectance here, of course we don't need specular. GGX and a Fresnel. I think I don't need Fresnel because I baked an specular texture, so let's try it. It's the wrong channel, I think. No. Dielectric. Clear this. Is it the wrong? Let's try it here. I'm stupid now. I'm here 100%. This is okay, we don't need the specular map here. Okay. Maybe it's too shiny here. Okay. And now, so I have the same settings. I just delete my blank 2 here, make another blank 2, copy this, and just change here my normal map. Oops. With this one. And put it on this here, and it should work. Okay. And now let's put something in our dome here, so we can see how it works under the dome. And for this I go again to the GSG models, to the free models, of course, link in the description. And let's see, what can we put on the, not again, my big, yeah, this retro camera here, why not, and drag it in. Okay, let's go to my other camera, so I can, because this camera, I see this model is by Mechados, maybe. T for scale. scale more. And even scale more. Okay. E for moving. Moving. Let's see what we get. Let's rotate this a little bit, this camera. Okay. Let's look what we get. Yes. Okay, I want more light in the front here, or something to reflect here somewhere, and of course we need depth of field then. So let's continue. Okay, so let's make here a light. So I take my softbox, not in the light version, in the in the Pro version. Here we have the softbox, and drag it in my got it here. Of course, you can, instead of softbox, you can take an area light or make a plane with an luminant texture on it. So you don't need it with Lightbox, but it's easier with the Lightbox. You can easier place it. So, and now I hide this camera for the moment because of the viewport speed. And here is our softbox, and it's almost right where it is. Maybe a little down. And here. Let's go back to our camera and let's see what we get. Come on. Here I see my softbox already. Here down, but maybe a little up. The softbox is a little too small, I think. Oh no, now we see it. Yes, now I have it. I got you. Okay, not the distance, I play with the distance here. Yes, that's what I like. That looks good here, wonderful. And now back with the camera and let's have a look. Here. It's still a little dark, this whole thing, but we can go up with the brightness of our softbox here. and we even can add some light. So here I have the light brightness, and we have a distance from 600, so I make the fall off of the light 600 too, and make it a little brighter. Yes. And maybe let's make a second softbox for here on the side. So just copy this softbox and we rotate it to the other side. Like here. Yeah, now we have here nice reflections and here reflections. That's okay. Everywhere reflections. There is nothing better than reflections. But maybe here in the second we make it a little darker. Okay. Nice. Next thing is we want depth of field. We have depth of field in the scene rig, but you know it. Here we have depth of field with the focus object and the f-stop. But now we use this other camera here, and we go to our physical. Now first we could put the glass bell or the dome here in this focus object field here. Or you just click on this arrow here and go over, you see, named glass, and just click on it. And now of course we need to activate depth of field in the render settings. So go to load, we want GI, and in the physical depth of field activated. Okay. Now we get, what get we now? Not much, because we need to play with the f-stop settings. I start with 1. This will be too much, I think, but yeah, that's far too much. Let's try it with 4. Yeah, 4 is okay, I think. Okay, I do a test render with this setting, so I pause the video for the moment, but you will not realize it. So here we have the render. It's a quite low render. You see here the noise and something, but I think we can be satisfied with this one. And here is the original one, but of course after Photoshop. But I think we need more depth of field. No, I would say no. You can do it like you want. If you say I want more depth of field, just get it. Okay, so now I again make another better render, but without the camera, and then we go to Photoshop and make this final look. Okay, so here we have now the final render, and Yeah, I did a render before, but this was a little boring without nothing in it. So it's now with camera, and yeah, now we can go to Photoshop with this. I just copied this file here. I did copy. Then we go to Photoshop, File, New, and we have here now the dimensions of the copied picture. Okay, and now just press Ctrl V, and we have it here. So the next thing is I duplicate this layer with Ctrl J. Every time I duplicate, so I have the original layer here on the bottom, and that's okay. Then right click and convert to smart object, and then we go in the camera raw filter here. Make it 100%. And the first I do most is this clarity. Give a little bit clarity, and you will see here the render is so nice, the render is so sharp, you almost don't need the clarity. That's too much, of course, but that's okay like this. Okay, and the next thing, I press Control, Alt, Shift and E to make a new layer of all these layers, out of these layers. And now again I make a smart object out of it. So I have a shortcut here, but right click and the same like before, so convert to smart object. And now I play with the Nik filter. They are now for free, and you will find the link in the description. And with the Color FX Pro, I go to my 100% here, and I have my own thing here. It's called Glass Spell, and this is what I did here. So let's deactivate everything. The first was this Brilliance Warmth. Here we see almost nothing, but it's here. The next is the cross processing. The next dark and light the center. Then the detail extractor. Then here the next one. And the last one, the image border. You find this whole filter here under Color FX Pro. Here is the German version, but that means all, and here you find all the filters. So okay, this is my thing. I press OK. Now I have this one. And now again this weird shortcut, Control Alt Shift E, and again Smart Object, and again I go now to the Smart Filter, the Camera Raw filter. That is what we had before. So let's go a little bit inside this picture. And it's a really clear, nice and clear render. We have almost no noise here. We are on 100%. We have nothing. So here may be a little noise, but I want to go a little with the exposure. It's a little too dark for me. So let's play with the exposure. Maybe now I have a little more clarity. Oh, no, we don't need. Yeah, let's say it's just a little bit. Okay. And now I want once again all together. So Control Alt Shift E, smart object, and again I want a smart filter, this camera raw filter, and now we can do something. I want to show you, we don't have here noise, but I want to show you how you can remove, if you don't have too much noise, you can remove it very nice. Let's say like here, we have a little noise here in this reflection. So I go to the sharpness here, sharpening, and here the noise reduction. And if you slide it to right, you will see we get a very smooth picture now. And here it smooths the noise here. Yeah. And let's say, okay, I want it like this, okay, but it's for the whole picture it's too much. So I go here in this mask here, in this filter, invert the filter with Control I. So now I don't have this filter here, and now I can just brush it where I need it. So I need a white brush, take the brush, and I brush on this mask here. So be aware that the mask is selected. You see it with this frame here. And if we now go over this thing, I can smooth just these things. They are a little bit noisy. Then you get a very, 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 very clean render if you do it like this. So you don't have to make it that your render with extreme high settings. So you can work like this too, a little bit. It's not a this is a great render. This is almost without noise. This noise in the background, this is not from the glass, this is the depth of field, so this shall be a little noisy. You can, of course you can make this, you see, you can smooth this out too, but I don't want it. This depth of field, it can be a little noisy. So, but you see the front is very, very sharp and crispy and nice. Yeah, that's our result. And I think it's not far from the original I did. Let's see. Oops. So yeah, we have here other lighting, but it's very, very clear. You can play, if you say, of course you can play with the colors too. You can go again, new sec, go in. And you can play with the temperature here. If you say I want it cooler or so now, or warmer, so now I have almost the same like here. It looks more later. Yeah, that looks better, I think. And so you get a wonderful picture. Okay, we are done. I hope you like this tutorial, and I hope to see you in the next tutorial too. Okay, I don't see you, but I hope you are here, you see me. Okay, you don't see me too, but you hear me. And soon it will come a small tutorial how I these are not mine here, these pine cones, they are from the arch models, but I got a lot of questions how could we model this, and I'll show you soon how we can model this. It's done with cloner, and it's quite easy, but a lot of cloners. I did for each row here, I did a cloner, and yeah, you will see it. Okay, so see you next time. Hopefully wish you a nice day, I wish you a nice weekend, and yeah, that's it for today. So if you have questions, just write in the comments or on my Facebook site. If you have suggestions for new tutorials, just write it. You will find every link you need with the project file and the whole links to the plugins and everything in the description. And yes, that's it for today. Bye bye, tschüss und baba.